Recording in progress.
Shalom, Mishpacha. Tawada Yahweh for giving me the opportunity to address and talk about certain topics that need to be addressed, especially when you're looking at different stages of equality. Most definitely, this today I wanted to take a little bit of time out in order to, I guess, address certain issues and certain issues that I wanted, or the issue that I wanted to address is how supremacy or suppression work, such as with Kyrie, and then we talk about Ye, and then other celebrities throughout history and time, and even now that are being suppressed, I guess, suppressed as far as their personal opinions on situations and certain things. Now, today, I have a short little clip that I'm gonna show on different or oppressions or how the Egyptians were black. The ancient Egyptians were black, and that is really really important, most important. So, but anyway, important because when you look at the found or the fact that when Moses was brought up as an Egyptian, how could he do that if he was white? How could a person become leprous? And leprosy, as far as I'm concerned, when it appears upon a white individual, it's a bumpy, really, it's like a nasty rash. And when an African American or a Semitic individual or person with melanin in their skin contracts leprosy, they turn like a smooth whiteness until either the whiteness comes and then it subsides and go away, or the whole body engulfs itself with leprosy, and then that individual is no longer looks melanated. He kind of looks like he's an albino. So basically, like I said before, take the time out to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification for new content whenever I release it. And especially if you're looking for edification or anything, most definitely all praises to Yahweh, Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh, Uvein Barakata, Ruach, Kodeshecha. Most definitely, all praises. So, like I said before, I'm gonna take a little bit of time to share with you and most definitely give you all the information that I possibly could come across as far as this truth and the Father's word and verification of the Father's word. Hallelujah. Most definitely. So I'm gonna go ahead and start it now, so I don't want to keep you on here too long or me on here too long. I have other things that I need to do, but the Father's word is always important. So right now, we're going to this particular screen where it's going to be a short little video. It's called Hebrew Tribes in Africa, Part 1. And most definitely Hebrew Tribes in Africa, Part 1. But we're only going to do one. So most definitely, I want to take the time out to say this as well. Fair use, fair use. All of the content that I do share in my videos are for edification, educational purposes. I'm here to give commentary or just show ways in which to agree. Most definitely, again, fair use. So let me share my screen again. Then when I go to this, all right. Oh, yeah, share screen. So that way we could go ahead and get started. Again, fair use.
The Egyptians are black. The real Egyptians are black. Because the real Egyptians, they are real Africans. So those people in Laos, you see in Cairo, in Gambia, in the Philippines, they they're mixed with Dutch Mamluks, French, English, Romans. So those people who come to Egypt in that time, they couldn't come to Arabi, to the south, which we still have the same country. Dark, black. So they couldn't mix with us. Okay, what was
Okay, this guy just said the Egyptians. Hold on, I'll replay it. I'll replay it.
So those people in Lower Egypt, you see in Cairo, Alexandria, and the Salahians area, they were mixed between the Turkish, Mamluks, French, English, Romans. So those people who come to attack
Egypt, and they attacked.
in that time,
They came in and attacked ancient Egyptians, French, Italians, Romans, and he's proclaiming that they interbred with the Egyptians, the dark Egyptians there, interbred with them, which would change their lineage to their fathers from their mother's house, or would change their lineage because genealogy is done through your father's house. Your father determines your ethnicity. So basically they go through your father's house. So technically the individual Egyptians that were there, that women, had mostly women, that went and bred with these other nations, then they diverted and started to become light.
they couldn't come to Arabi, to the south, which we still have the same country. Dark, black. So they couldn't mix with us. Okay, what was you see, I explained to him about the Nubians and the Egyptians. They were not white. They are black Africans. So he said now, ليه هنا الناس اسمهم صعيد بحري بيض. He said the people you know, most of them they are not Egyptians. They are Greeks from south.
I am a black Egyptian. My father is much darker than I am. My mother is lighter than I am. In Egypt, people.
All right, now this brother came from Egypt, and he became an American citizen. So then when he became an American citizen, they told him that he was white.
People are identified by the religion first, not the race. So in Egypt, if you are Christian, you are Egypt. People are identified by the religion first, not the race. So in Egypt, if you are Christian, you are a minority person. If you are black, you're not a minority person. You are in the real same society. I came from this background. And in Egypt, you identify as Arab and as Muslim. And in this country, when I first came, I identified myself as Arab American and Muslim first. And gradually, I became to identify myself as black. I came to the US in 1978, and I became US citizen in 1985. When I became a US resident, I was told by the immigration naturalization that I'm white. And I told them that I'm black, and they said, no, in this country, you are white. All Arabs in this country, all Arab immigrants are white. I didn't pay much attention in the beginning to this, because in the Arab world, we identify with our ethnicity first as Arabs, and then with the race second as black or white or whatever. But in this country, you identify with your racial group first and then with your ethnicity second. Gradually, I became black first and Arab second. And I rejected my white classification publicly for the first time in 1987, in February, as a panelist in a function sponsored by the Association of the Study of Black Life and History in Detroit. I said that I belong to two minority groups. I'm Arab American and Black American, and I'm racially Black and ethnically Egyptian. I was harassed by my employer right after that. I work for a white school district. The superintendent is white, all the associate superintendents are white, even though that we provide services to 30% Black population. But the organization is white and the approach is very white. The attitude towards me changed completely after I went out publicly and rejected my white classification. One coworker came to me and told me, a white coworker came to me and told me right after the function that he met with the superintendent, and if I don't keep my mouth shut, my educational career is over. He said, you have nothing to do with these people, you have a history and culture. These people came from the jungle, you have nothing to do with them. These people lie and steal. When I see one of them in the neighborhood, I call the police.
Now, these people that they come from the jungle and they don't do nothing but lie and steal. And every time he sees them, he calls the police. It's a white guy saying that to him about why you shouldn't claim to be Black.
And I was told by the director, told me right after the function, that he met with the superintendent, and if I don't keep my mouth shut, my educational career is over. He said, you have nothing to do with these people, you have a history and culture. These people came from the jungle, you have nothing to do with them. These people lie and steal. When I see one of them in the neighborhood, I call the police. And I was told by the director of education, who is retired now. In '88, I was told by him that I get people angry when I say that I'm Black Egyptian. If I just say that I'm Egyptian, I will get along. I have to add that I was denied promotion twice because I chose Black classification. This is part of my 2 lawsuits against my employer, which are currently pending. 2 lawsuits.
Just for the education of our viewership, what we share with us, Egypt as it is today, insofar as Black or combinations thereof of European descent and what have you.
We have Egyptians of European descent in Egypt. We have a population which is basically which is basically a mixture of ancient Egyptian Blacks who intermarried with Arabs right after the Arab conquest. The ancient Egyptian population was brown and black. The population.
Right. Because of the interbreeding, interracial breeding, or procreation, they started having Arabs. So the Shemite blood started to spill over into the Egyptian blood, the Hamite blood.
Was brown and black. The ancient Egyptian population was brown and black before the Arab conquest. But before the Arab conquest came the Greeks. It was the ancient Egyptian population was.
Now, before the Arabs, there was the Greeks. There was the Greeks.
In Egypt, for thousands of years, the ancient Egyptian population was brown and black. And the Greeks came in 300 BC, and they started to intermarry with the local population. And then the Romans came and ruled from 70 BC until they were conquered by the Arabs and kicked out by the Arabs in the 7th century. And these people intermarried with the Egyptian Copts, and they made the pigmentation. The Egyptians, the Copts, much later because of this intermarriage with Europeans.
Now, you're an educator, okay? Now, how do you deal with situations when you practice your profession insofar as dealing with the mythology or misconceptions about Egypt being a white civilization? How do you deal with that?
This is a big problem because ancient Egyptian civilization was a black civilization, and ancient Egyptians were black according to the Greek scholars and the Roman scholars. Ancient Egypt became white only in the 19th century and in the 20th century.
Hear that? Egypt became white in the 18th and 20th century.
This is a big problem because ancient Egyptian civilization was a black civilization, and ancient Egyptians were black according to the Greek scholars and the Roman scholars. Ancient Egypt became white only in the 19th century and in the 20th century. This is a big problem because Egypt, ancient Egyptian civilization was a black civilization, and ancient Egyptians were black according to the Greek scholars and the Roman scholars. Ancient Egypt became white only in the 19th century and in the 20th century. And the scholar who's responsible for this is Seligman. I know the noted anthropologist of England, Seligman. White supremacy views that blacks are inferior than white intellectually. They are subhuman and they are incapable of building a civilization. White supremacy, one dilemma. This Seligman came. The dilemma was ancient Egypt was black according to the Greek and the Roman scholars. Two of them said that, including Aristotle and Plato. They said that in writing.
Now, when you look at, and they're showing you these images, they're not showing you these images for nothing. These are depictions or pictures of the ancient Egyptians. Look at their complexion. Look at their complexion.
In writing. They had the dilemma. Ancient Egyptian was black. So if blacks are inferior intellectually and incapable of building a civilization, how come the ancient Egyptians built a civilization? Seligman found the solution for this dilemma. He came up with a theory called the Hamite theory. He separated the black Suprema civilization in Egypt and Ethiopia from the rest of the black race, and he called them brown-skinned whites, or the Hamites. So Seligman saved white supremacy from this dilemma, and all the white scholars followed him from that time on. This was at the end of the 19th century. And since that time, white scholarship says that ancient Egypt is white.
Mustafa Hikmi is currently working on his doctorate degree at Wayne State University. His dissertation topic is a quantum analysis of the treatment of ancient Egypt in world history textbooks. And just how far is this determined Egyptian work
Whoa. Here, let's say that again.
of the treatment of ancient Egypt in world history textbooks? And just how far
This was at the end of the 19th century. And since that time, white scholarship says that ancient Egypt is white.
Mustafa Hikmi is currently working on his doctorate degree at Wayne State University. His dissertation topic is a quantum analysis of the treatment of ancient Egypt in world history textbooks. And just
Meaning that you should teach ancient Egyptian history in world history textbooks. That's his dissertation. Meaning that you should teach the truth. Just like with Judea. Judea is not Jewish. We're not Jewish. We are Israelites of different tribes. Eber, Asher, Dan, Benjamin. We are Israelites. And I am a Native American Hebrew Israelite. So basically, the individuals that's running around trying to whitewash history and change different things, like Egypt wasn't black. Ancient Egypt was white. Then Judah is not a race. It's a religion. It's called Judaism. Really? Really? So when they were wiping away and carrying off Judah, Benjamin, and Levi into slavery, and then proclaiming the Pharisees and the Sadducees and the ones that's in control of it now, converts turn Judah into a religion instead of a race, just like they did in Egypt.
How far is this determined Egyptian willing to go to be classified black?
Let me tell you, like, he's all the way up the video to be worth is necessary.
Buried, fertility, and miraculous returns from the brink of death. A generous everyday magic. In ancient Egypt, both priests and ordinary people used Heka to end suffering or save a life. Egyptian rituals could also buy you luck, fidelity, sex, prosperity, fertility, and miraculous returns from the brink of death. A generous donation to the temple could guarantee a peaceful end and safe passage through the underworld to the kingdom of the afterlife. Both gods and mortals alike also use their powers to curse others in the name of lust, murder, and revenge. The key to revenge, spurned lovers could turn to Ejo, the cobra goddess, who punished unfaithful mates with her astral poison. If you actually wanted to kill someone, a curse from Selket, the scorpion goddess, could bring a plague on your enemy's house. Nekhbet, the vulture goddess, would have you triumphant, laughing with 1 foot over the neck of your rival's dying body. There were also Egyptian gods you could petition if you simply wanted to have a good time. Geb, the crocodile god, assisted with fertility, and Min, the god of sexuality, promised a wild night of fornication. Hathor, queen of the skies, granted opportunities for gluttony and drunkenness. Egyptian black magic rituals. Priests, magicians, and scorpion charmers were the main practitioners of Heka rituals in ancient Egypt. These guardians of the kingdom possessed secret knowledge that could help ordinary desperate mortals ward off the cruel blows of fate. The most respected were the Lantier priests, keepers of the ancient books of magic, who could do incredible things such as cause floodwaters to retreat, bring wax animals to life, or paralyze enemies of the pharaoh. Magicians perform rituals to trick your target into doing your will, and scorpion charmers send scorpions out into the night.
All I want to say is that, let's turn this down. All right, all I want to say is that if you look at the different depictions that they're showing images of the ancient Egyptians in their particular, like in deity form. But this is an ancient Egyptian. Look at his skin tone. And this is one of how they would dress through ceremonial events. Look at the hieroglyphics that's on their walls, or their pictures, their selfies. Dark, that's that hood, the helm, or the horns, or whatever that comes off of it. Then you also have the complexion of it. That doesn't look white to me. That doesn't look like, these don't look like white people to me. And when when you want to teach over in Egypt that the ancient Egyptians were black, they would ban you. It's against the law to do that over there. They don't want nobody to know, or they call it Afrocentric. If you try to say, or homophobics. Well, anyway, they try to say that if an individual says that the ancient Egyptians were black, then you violate in your country, or you violate in their country by trying to teach that the ancient Israelites, the ancient Egyptians were black. And then you look at all of the depictions of the individuals during that time, but this is a time they have this white woman here to where they kind of whitewashed it here, but they couldn't do much with the background. If you look up here, if you look up right up there, you'll see the images of the individuals. Some believe that these were the Hebrews that was in that land at that particular time. I particularly believe it because we weren't always slaves when we were in Egypt. We were in Yisrael went down, or Jacob went down to Egypt and carried the 12 tribes of Israel with him and stayed with Joseph while Joseph was served or helped Pharaoh with Egypt in its development and against the plagues. And if you look, some believe that these individuals with the little, that's dressed differently. The Egyptians are dressed with shawls over their shoulder and kind of fancy. But when you look at the Hebrews or the other individuals in this picture, they're running around free along with them and interacting. And if you look at their apparel, they look like they have on just like little white shorts and no shirt. Basically like, you know, and they're dark skinned. So basically in ancient Egypt, they uncovered a particular area to where they had, they thought, they never knew it was there. This is recent discovery. Do the homework for yourself and actually find out. But they excavated and found an area over in Egypt to where it looked like people lived. They had bakeries, they practiced medicines, they had families that was there and everything. So they believed that these people weren't slaves, because we weren't always slaves. We did dwell in that land, in the land of Egypt, but we weren't slaves for about 40 years. Then Joseph died. Then a new pharaoh got in. A new pharaoh got in place that didn't know Joseph or didn't care too much about Joseph. If he did know about Joseph, then slavery was implemented, or not even really a forced slavery. It was like trickery slavery. Take their straw. Don't give them no bricks. Don't help them build. And then we want double the work that they're doing. So therefore, the Pharaoh started to inflict the Israelites with extra work until they're bonded. Now they're bonded to the Egyptians. So basically, that's how that took place. So slavery, technically, Israelites in slavery in Egypt only lasted about maybe 150 to 250 years. All ancient depictions of the ancient Egyptians. Now, these are the different civilizations of the Egyptians, or the ancient Egyptian gods, because they deified themselves. They deified themselves. They made themselves the best people, or they made themselves gods and carrying the sign of Baal, Ra, and all of those other false deities that were destroyed with the 12 plagues of Egypt. But look at the color of these people, the ancient Egyptians. Even adults, like, now the cat was black. It's like, no, I'm playing. But anyway, dark complexion, dark complexion, dark complexion, dark complexion, dark complexion, dark complexion. Well, no, that's no complexion, but that's one of the gods that they serve. This is an Egyptian, another Egyptian one of their Egyptian gods. Hathor, queen of the skies. Look at the complexion. Almost looks like Aaliyah. I miss you, Aaliyah. Miss you, Gretchen. Miss all of y'all. But anyway, yeah. Dark complexion. Ancient Egyptians. Dark complexions. And these pictures are coming from the Egyptian tombs. These are ancient pictures. The hieroglyphics on the wall. The Egyptians, dark-skinned people all the way through. Even the sisters here, still of complexion, of a Shemitic complexion, not an Ashkenazi complexion. But like I said before, just going through and looking at it, and then this is the way that the Egyptians, they don't want to, the people of Egypt now, they're not, I don't consider them Egyptians. I think that the Arabs in Egypt now, which have total control of it, they basically want to be known as white. If you come from the United States, if you come to the United States from Egypt, they already have an agreement that you're going to be labeled white. You're going to be labeled white, not black, not nothing else. You're going to be labeled white. Even if you're black, you're still going to be labeled white. So therefore, it's different forms of white supremacy that's taking place even down to this day. When you have the Ish people, stipulating that, what does it matter about race? Why does it matter? Just because you were born into a family, just become Jewish. I mean, it doesn't matter. Yes, it does matter. It's laws, it's guidelines in the Father's book on who's supposed to build what, who's supposed to pray for who's supposed to toast the tabernacle. Oh, come on now. Ethnicity is everything. Converts can't control a religion that was an ethnicity, point blank. So just going back to the Egypt topic, you have different individuals that's governor in Egypt, and they want to be known as individuals they don't want to be known as it's a heresy to say that the ancient Egyptians were black over in Egypt. They're European nation, they're European Arabs. Some of Shemitic descent, some of Hermetic descent, meaning some from the house of Shem, some from the house of Ham, but mostly of Japheth. Europeans that's taking control and took control of a region, all for its resources. But anyway, it's going back on like white supremacy. And then another reason, or a main reason, and not to change the topic, but just the main reason as to why I pull this up today. It's all about control, about what individuals have said, or control of people. Now, I don't know if anyone has heard, but you can actually see it for yourself. Do it just like I did. Google it. Kevin Hart banned in Egypt. And then when we look at Kevin Hart banned in Egypt, let's look at some of the reasons, or let's see. Egypt campaign to cancel Kevin Hart. Comedian show gains steam. The comedian's support of Afrocentrism and it takes on ancient Egypt, and its takes on ancient Egypt, meaning that Kevin Hart just stated that he just believed that the ancient Egypt, it should be taught to their children or taught around the world that the ancient Egyptians were black. So now Egypt wants to ban him from coming there and putting on a show, all because he said that he believes that the ancient Egyptians were black. Egyptian campaign to cancel Kevin Hart comedian show gains steam. That means that Egyptian campaign to ban him is growing. The comedian's support of Afrocentrism and its takes on ancient Egypt have angered many in the country. Calls for the cancellation of Kevin Hart's show in Cairo has been one of Egypt's top trending topics over the past weeks. Banning Kevin Hart because he wants to teach that the ancient Egyptians were Black, trying to block our videos and stop our programming on YouTube or in any type of limelight, and putting hands over our mouths as far as communication when we try to teach that the ancient Israelites were Black. How could Ham hide in Egypt? Or how could Salathia, how could Moses be brought up and the Pharaoh believing that that's one of his sons too, and not and if he was white? How could Sarah become leper? And then when Moses had the curse put on him, the father said, put your hand inside your robe. And then when he did, he said, pull it out. Moses' hands was leprous, white as snow. White as snow. Then he put it in, then he pulled it back out, and then his hand became like his other flesh. And if what's the opposite, or what could theoretically, what color could Moses have been? He had to have been dark. He became white as snow. Put his hand back in there, or he must have been at least boxwood. He had to have been at least boxwood. So then when he pulled it back out, he was back boxwood. So now when we try to, Jesus or Yahweh Shah, the world calls him ignorantly Jesus, but I say Yahweh Shah, when he's hiding from King Herod, he goes into Egypt again, the land of Canaan. So basically, when you go into the land of Canaan and you're white, how are you going to hide? He had to have been boxwood. If those ancient Egyptians were dark and always labeled as dark-skinned people, like dark as the raven, then technically he had to have been dark complexion. Shem, dark but smooth, or dark but comely. Is that comely, that cushy look that they try to say, oh, cushy mean white. Nah, cushy don't mean white. Cushy means that complexion is beautiful, it's dark and beautiful. Come on, y'all, stop telling lies, admit the truth. Ancient Egypt was Black. Shem was Black. Yahweh Shah was Black. Now I just got everybody mad now. I'm only telling truth, facts, not from a white supremacist point of view. Only facts. And like I said before, I'm not going to make this video long. Tawada for staying around. Most definitely take the time out to like, share, and like, share, comment. Please comment, and support. Hit the bell notification, so that way you can help the frequency with putting out the Father's work, my channel, and my channel, my Father's channel, because without him, I can't do it. I wouldn't be able to do it. So technically, take the time out to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification for new content when I release it. Therefore, it can give you biblical edification along with social edification. Knowledge is key, but you can do just like I did. And go through. I Googled simply. Although I've already read the news and knew that this was all that they wanted to ban Kevin Hart, sort of like they did Kyrie and Ye and anybody else that speak out against anybody else's supremacist agenda. So you type that in there, and the next thing you know, you'll have all of these particular sites that you could go to. Some reparable, some not. But you will see. You are not welcome to Egypt. Find out the ticket prices for Kevin Hart. Hold on. Kevin, against whom a campaign was launched with a message. You are not welcome in Egypt. Is facing rejection for the pioneers of the communication sites. So, again, You got to come clean. Tell the truth about what's going on in our societies, what's going on with the history. Most definitely, the sooner that individuals come clean on the sooner individuals come clean on what what the truth is, the it betters the chance for advancement. It betters the chance for reparations. It betters the chance for your repentance for what you or repentance for what you've done to the nation of Israel, the Father's chosen people. And with that, I like to say, Tawada Yahuwah, Bahashem Hamashiach, Yahusha, Ubaim, Barakata, Ruach, Kodashecha, most definitely. And I'll send you out with at least one of your Shema's prayers on a day. O Shema Yisrael, Yahuwah Eloheinu, Yahuwah Echad, V'ahavta et Yahuwah Eloheicha b'chol levavcha, u'chol neshefcha, u'chol mehodecha, et lo yachelet u'tir. Yahuwah Chatah. Stay blessed, stay prayed up, get away from all of the lies. Come back to the Father, come back to the truth. Peace.